Mark Malava, has declined to name the school where he claims Hurricane Melissa displaced people still being housed in school shelters are having sex in full view of students. And we've heard from the Minister of Local Government that there are about 8 schools that are still being used as shelters, with just under 100 people, I gather, are still using these schools as shelters. Now, Mr. Malava made very public this claim that those who are using the schools as shelters months after the passage of Hurricane Melissa, and I'm going to take and come back to it now, because that is an issue in and of itself. Now, Mr. Malava when known public that, look, our students, the nation's children, are being exposed to people having sexual relations right in front of them, in full view of them. Mr. Malava is now refusing, and don't just say it's listeners and viewers, the president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, to say which school this so-called incident took place. Mr. Malava claims the information was shared with him in confidence. Here's Kalisha Wright with that report.
This was the statement made by Mr. Malava.
Children and teachers are displaced, and at the same time, shelterees occupy classrooms. Something is wrong with that equation. And the conditions, colleagues, are deeply troubling. Reports of shelterees engaging in sexual activity within the clear view of students is something everyone should be outraged about. Reports of teachers, resources going missing. Reports of schools being transformed into spaces befitting of tenement yard, no longer represents institutions of learning, is something that every individual should be outraged about.
The extraordinary claim made by Mr. Malava was while addressing day 1 of the JTA's education conference at the Princess Grand Resort in Hanover on Tuesday. The Ministry of Education issued a statement on Wednesday morning responding to JTA President's claim. The ministry says it was not officially notified of any case of inappropriate behavior by shelterees, especially in circumstances involving children at any school being used as a shelter. According to Portfolio Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, the ministry, since learning of the claim, has many checks with its stakeholders.
We have checked with the regional director, Dr. Michelle Pinnock, and she has indicated that she has not received any such report. She has also checked with the principals, and they have indicated that they have no reports of that nature. In addition to that, we have our safety and security officer routinely doing visits to the schools, and they have not received any reports, neither have the shelter managers that routinely work with these shelter locations.
Minister Morris-Dixon says, nevertheless, the principals have requested additional time to undertake additional extraordinary due diligence given the serious implications of the allegation.
We've asked the principals to do some extraordinary checks to see if there are any reports or any teacher that has witnessed what has been reported. The ministry has to note that the care and protection of our children is of utmost importance. And so we take this very seriously.
The Education Ministry says it meets with the JTA on a monthly basis, and these specific allegations were never raised in those sessions. It says since the matter arose publicly, Minister Morris-Dixon has made attempts to contact the president to obtain specific details concerning the public statements made. The minister, who appeared on Cliff Hughes Online subsequent to the ministry's statement, says she has spoken with Mr. Malavo. According to Dr. Morris Dixon, the JTA president says he can't name the school where the incident happened because it was shared with him in confidence.
I got him a few minutes ago. I got to speak to him a few minutes ago, and I said to him, you have to identify which school this is, when it happened, and so that we can investigate properly. And he has told me he cannot do so because the teacher has told me.
Sorry, Minister, beg your pardon. He has said he cannot what?
He has indicated he cannot tell me the name of the schools because the teacher reported it to him in confidence. But in my view, in confidence went when you made it very public.
At present, there are 81 persons being accommodated across 8 shelter sites. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive report there, Khaleesi Wright. Now, I want to play, studio, 2 of those clips again. I want to play the very first clip with Mr. Malava making the stunning allegation of what was reported to him. So let's play that first clip again, the very first clip in the rap we just listened to.
Children and teachers are displaced, and at the same time, shelterees occupy classrooms. Something is wrong with that equation. And the conditions, colleagues, are deeply troubling. Reports of shelterees engaging in sexual activity within the clear view of students is something that everyone should be outraged about. Reports of teachers, resources going missing. Reports of schools being transformed into spaces befitting of tenement yard that no longer represents institutions of learning is something that every individual should be outraged about.
Mr. Malava is right. If these allegations are true, that shelterees are engaging in sexual activity in full view of minors who attend the schools that they are using as shelters, it is something that the entire country should be up in arms about. Mr. Malava is right on that score. But apparently, Mr. Malava and the teachers who he claims reported this to him are not enraged enough. They have not been sufficiently triggered for them to do the right thing and report the matter to the authorities so that it can be investigated. Let's play that final clip in the rap for me now with the education minister asking Mr. Malava, tell us which school this is, and for her to tell us that the president of the JTA, who is a principal himself, I believe, yes, Lady Nora, he's a principal of a school. This principal, who is now JTA president, is saying, I can't tell you because I was told this in confidence. Let's have a listen to that clip again.
I got him a few minutes ago. I got to speak to him a few minutes ago, and I said to him, you have to identify which school this is, when it happened, and so that we can investigate properly. And he has told me he cannot do so because the teacher has told me.
Sorry, Minister, beg your pardon. He has said he cannot what?
He has indicated he cannot tell me the name of the schools because the teacher reported it to him in confidence. But in my view, in confidence went when you made it very public.
The JTA boss, who represents teachers, 20,000 teachers across the length and breadth of this country, 20,000+, says to the Minister of Education, according to what she has shared with us, and you heard in that clip just now, that he can't name the school at which this incident happened that should concern every Jamaican, if it is true. He says, I can't tell you the name of the school because the teachers told me this in confidence. Now what I want to ask you, listeners and viewers, because you've got to help me this morning, you know, and I'm trying to be very judicious with my pronouncements because I don't want to say anything offensive. But has the JTA president lost his mind? And I'm not trying to be offensive. Has the boss of the JTA lost his mind? Now, I'm going to seek to unpack this for you, listeners and viewers. And then I want you to tell me if Mark Malava should continue as JTA president. Now, in my mind, the JTA president needs to resign. He can no longer serve as president of the JTA. A matter of fact, he ought to resign. He shouldn't be able to return to that job as principal when his tour of duty ends as JTA president. Mr. Malava occupies what the law would call a position of authority, and those teachers as well.